You may be seated even now in the presence of the Lord. And please join me in giving the music ministry another hand clap. Oh, give God a hand clap of praise for them as well. Amen. So we've been continuing to share now and look at this whole point this month of expectations. And what we've been sharing and decreeing and declaring is that sometimes we recognize our expectations have been much lower than what Jesus' blood has made available. We have been expecting too low oftentimes, believing too low. And because we have found ourselves maybe failing in the past, we don't have the confidence and the assurance to sometimes go back and expect bigger today. Failed yesterday, so believe that tomorrow can't be better. And what I want to remind us is that we didn't know yesterday what we know today to position ourselves for tomorrow. So in turn, it's time to expect bigger and believe bigger and really trust what God has already made available through and by what Jesus' blood already provided. So today I want to begin. So last week we talked about this idea of disappointment. I want to raise a question today. How many of us have ever had a sharp and a strong disagreement with somebody? Now I'm talking about, let me be clear about this. I'm not talking about somebody that took your parking space over at Walmart. I'm talking about an intense disagreement that occurred between you and somebody else. I'm talking about an intense disagreement where you wish you never had to see that person again in your life. I'm talking about an intense disagreement where you wonder why God ever wasted his time making that person in the first place. I'm talking about an intense and strong disagreement. And what I want to offer before we leave here today, we have to end up being convicted and believe that if we don't end up approaching that person and that situation the way God has told us to do, that person's not the one hurt. We are the one hurt. They may, amen, flower. They may have been the one that did something, but if that strong and that sharp disagreement has occurred, there are some biblical remedies to address that as well. So here's the point. I'm talking about this sharp and strong. And you know, whenever there's a disagreement, you always got somebody on the side trying to egg you on. In many cases, be very clear, sometimes these agreements have occurred not even with the two people going at each other. This person and this person were fine, but a third person got involved, got into this person's ear, and as a result, they go at one another. So this idea of this strong disagreement, now this conflict, is really when there's a disagreement or this struggle between people who have opposing needs, opposing ideas, opposing beliefs, and or opposing values or goals. So some kind of way this person wants to go this way, this person wants to go that way, and as a result there's a disagreement that occurs, and often this conflict arises. So we find ourselves in this case, and sometimes it appears that that breach between us and the other person gets wider and wider and wider. And because of emotion and because of what happened in our lives, we want to readily write them off. Be very clear, Jesus did not die to write anybody off. I said Jesus did not die to write anybody off. Jesus did not die to write anybody else. So even if they're the ones, and here's the point, we want to say it was always 100% their fault. That's not. At some point we find ourselves that this gulf, this chasm gets stronger and wider and wider. So what do we do with these disagreements? So this conflict, and I like this next one here, this last one here, it is when one party perceives that the other party has negatively affected them. That what this person did, didn't matter what they did over there, but it has now an impact on me. And as a result, we have the birth of a strong or sharp disagreement. So here's the point. I want to give us at least 4 sources and then get to the source in a minute. So what is a source of strong and sharp disagreement? Here's the first one. Exposed differences. This is a conflict in relationship. Whenever you end up having 2 or more people coming together, everybody brings their history with them. Amen? I don't care how fine she is, how fine he is. At some point, we bring all this history with us. And so it was all cute while y'all were dating, but all of a sudden you got married and all of a sudden the stuff that was cute is no longer cute. The idea, I'm talking about all these differences came into play. And so with these differences here, we have these relationship conflicts. And if we're not careful, we'll find that chasm expanding instead of closing as well. So what happens, I like this right here, the second one right here, that conflict is the appearance of difference. It's a difference of opinion or a difference of interest that we have, that the relationships get strained because of a difference. Now here's what happens here. Now read this with me. We don't see things as they are. We see them as we are. Over here, what does this person see? How many logs? How many over here? Who's right? What? I said over here, what is it? How many see over here? Who's right? So depending on the perspective, then this person over here can easily argue they're 4. This person over here can easily argue they're 3. And because they have a difference of perspective, if the number of laws is not significant, but if we're unable to see things from another's point of view, we end up having the opportunity and the seeds planted to have a sharp and strong disagreement. Read this with me, please. Most disagreements are caused by different perceptions that created different realities. You looked at this and perceived it this way. I looked at it and perceived it this way. And my reality is what I saw. And my reality is sometimes, and here's the point, sometimes I'm so concerned and recognize my reality must be right. So as a result, your reality must be wrong. And that's when our strong disagreements occur. Please read this, please. What does this person over here see? Over here. Now read this with me. Just because you are right doesn't mean I'm wrong. You just haven't seen life from my perspective, my side. And so this idea, the seeds are there to end up. So this idea of conflict, relationship conflicts, personal feelings over conflict. Now, years ago, there's this author who got rich, John Gray, talking about men are from Mars and women are from Venus, had little seminars all over town, and yeah, I see why you did it because you're from Mars. I know you did it because you're from Venus. And his premise was that oftentimes men are more driven, not all the time, by the head, as his argument was that women are driven by the heart. And sometimes the heart and the head don't match. So what happens? So in some cases, a man can say at this point, if you're going to go from A to B, A to C, you got to go through B. And if you want to go all to Z first and come back, it's just not logical. That's what a man would say. But then women talk about we not sensitive. And then they say at this point, you must have a heart that's 3 sizes too small. What is wrong with you? You see my baby out there hurt on the court, and you talking about he just walk it off? But what's wrong with you? You're not sensitive. And as a result, you have this idea of this head and heart not always coming together. Let me make this live for you right here. Many of y'all had a chance to meet my grandmother before she went to be the Lord TT. I mean, there was none other like TT. TT put 5 men in the grave. That's a bad system. And the last one she had, nice guy. And I was like, bro, I'm telling you right now, be careful. So the last one you had, and so they were dating around Valentine's Day. And he was just talking about all these things he's going to do around Valentine's Day. So what day is the Valentine's? What day? It's February what? 14th. Everybody knows universally that Valentine's Day is on the 14th of February every year. Not every year. What he decides to do is she does not hear from him all on the 14th of February. You know what I'm saying? He shows up on the 15th of February and has all these nice gifts. Every minute that's not spent without you is a minute wasted. All these gifts, an armful of gifts, he shows up with on the 15th instead of on the 14th. Well, and here was his logic. If I had bought this on the 14th, I could have only had this much. But I waited for a day. And baby, I love you so much. I got this much. Teacher looked at him and said, man, get out of my house. Yeah, he was so here's logical. It made sense logically. But TT wanted something on the day. Don't you talk? I'm not talking about 11:59 p.m. either. You better have that thing ready at 12:01 and make sure it's already ready. Because what happened, there was a difference in a relationship. There was a conflict in a relationship between exposed differences. Everybody looks at life differently. Yeah, now praise God. For those that are married, praise God. You ought to have more things y'all agree on than you disagree on. Amen, somebody. Yeah, but the idea is there always are going to be differences. And if we don't deal with those differences, these exposed differences, this relationship, this conflict can end up getting wider instead of smaller. Here's the next source. What's another source then? Explanations diminished. Task conflict. What are we saying right here? Sometimes, anybody ever been around somebody who just doesn't communicate well? Yes. Don't be looking at the person next to you either. Don't be hunching everybody. And here's another point. Sometimes you can deal with folk who don't communicate well. And then sometimes you deal with folk who just can't shut up. They over-communicate. Well, at this point, all you need to know was that they were going to the store. Well, I was thinking, I got up in the morning, I brushed my teeth, I went over here. Now, just tell me where you want to go. So the idea, there's a disconnect. Sometimes in communications and explanations get diminished, and there's a task conflict. What does that mean then? So let me see. We'll do this later on. So with this task conflict, there's a disagreement over what needs to be done. In fact, let's just do this. Janai, come in for a second. I need two teenagers. Come up here with me very quickly. Come up here. Give them a hand clap, praise. They come in. I need one more. Teenager. Come on. I need one more teenager. Come up here. So I want you to see something. So what I'm going to do, let me cut this mic off for a second. Now I'm going to tell them something. And let me give you the idea. So first of all, this is Marcus, one of a senior at A&T, ROTC, wonderful man of God, acting quad in the houses, and wonderful. I don't believe in human cloning, but if I could, I'd clone him 5 times over. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to tell them both something in their ear. They're going to come and tell, one is going to tell this person, and y'all going to go all the way through here. Then may I finish, please? So that I did. I'm going to tell somebody over here, and I'm going to ask the last person to tell me what they said. You got it? I'm going to tell one of them something, and they're going to go tell one other person quietly. Those other people can't hear. And very quickly, we're going to go and see what the end of being. So at this point, in the meantime, y'all just hug each other. Right.
Don't give him a book. I mean, he's giving him a book.
A couple paragraphs.
Baby, I've got already.
Okay, and then after, and once we're through, y'all go to the bed, y'all gonna be the ones listening to what happens. Okay, come on. You know, I don't have a few minutes about my time. Okay, y'all stand right here for a second, okay? This right here. Okay, meantime, y'all can pray. Can only say it one time.
Now you tell me.
I'm about communication here.
Then that's why you need to repeat it. That's why you need to repeat it. One time.